Hello and welcome to a new episode of Open Talk. In our show today, we have with us Rana Al-Alawi, a young Bahraini triathlete who has won few medals in participating in the triathlon race. Welcome to our program, Rana.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it to talk about the sports and triathlon in general.
Bahrain celebrating all the way to the gantry under the big blue Chattanooga tutu and M. From Bahrain, well done, Rana Abdulafar.
So, Rana, can you tell me, when did you start being
Ironman.
a triathlete? Ironman, exactly.
Well, it only dates back to 2 years ago. And honestly, I really don't know how it started because I was not sporty at all during high school or university. I think a lot of the people I know would actually vouch for that. So it was 2 years of hard work, and it basically started off with just running, and I just delved into it a few months later.
So, what made you passionate about it? As I know that you're a lawyer.
Yeah. So passion is actually what fuels me to do this every single day. It really started off with wanting to do something different. A lot of the times you try to start a new hobby and everyone keeps telling you, no, you can't do that. You have to have started it as a young child or to get good at something, horse riding or whatever it is. And I thought, you know what, I want to go completely against that because sports is important, staying active is important. And I started with running, as I said earlier. And it just gave me a new perspective, just with running, with cycling, with swimming. Gave me a new perspective, and it told me that, you know what, you can be good at something with just 2 years of practice, because it doesn't take, skill. It actually just takes passion and determination and persistence and practice, and that's about it.
So, looking back at the first time that you participated in triathlon, the Ironman, how did it feel?
So going back, I actually participated in Oman first in a triathlon race. It was an Olympic distance race. That is 1.5 kilometers of swimming, 40 kilometers of cycling, and 10 kilometers of running. And honestly speaking, I thought during the race, why am I doing this? But I also fell, and I remember I was like, I'm not going to finish this race. There's no way for me to actually cross that finish line. And surprisingly enough, I cinched first place overall during the race.
Nice.
I just ran for it, and it felt absolutely amazing, like a different achievement, because not only does it challenge your physical strength, it's just mentally challenging, and it's completely different than what you've ever experienced. Yeah.
So, Rana, can you tell me about the other races that you participated in?
Okay. So I only participated in a few, particularly Ironman. And the first Ironman race I did was in Bahrain. It's 1.9 kilometers of swimming, it's 90 kilometers of cycling, and 21 kilometers of running. And yeah, it sounds exhausting, but it was great. We got, the Bahraini women, the participants were amazing. They actually increased in that year. And even this year they did as well. And I actually managed to achieve second Bahraini woman, and first in the 18 to 24 category,
Okay.
and third overall GCC woman.
Wow.
So I was very, very happy with my performance. And from there, we qualified to the Ironman World Championships, and with the sponsorship and the help of His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad, we flew out to Chattanooga, Tennessee last September and participated in the World Championships, which was honestly one of the hardest races I've ever done.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank
So,
you.
how do you find it, the fact that you're a Bahraini woman? Do you find it more challenging as a Bahraini woman than?
Yeah, definitely. And now with the growth in the sports, and you see more people and women flocking over to the sports, which is amazing. There are still barriers and challenges. There's access to swimming pools, and timings, and obviously there are women who choose to swim alone or with a coach, and it's very hard to find that access here, especially with larger sized pools. And even cycling outside, you get comments, you get several comments saying you shouldn't be cycling outside, or even friends and family who say the sport is rough. Do you really want to do that? Don't you want to do something a little less taxing? And actually, surprisingly, my father was the first person to be like, do you really want to be doing this? And when I first started my half Ironman, and when I actually did it, he completely changed his mentality. He's like, when's the next race? When do you want to do that? And he became my biggest supporter. So it only takes a bit of convincing, and it goes a long way. Definitely there are still barriers there, as I said, but it's getting a lot better. It's getting a lot better.
So, what is the next race that he'll be participating in?
The next race, hopefully Bahrain Ironman again, and I'm looking to do an Ironman outside of Bahrain. I know a couple of friends are going to Texas. That's the full distance, which is double the distance, and Switzerland, because it's very challenging and mountainous, so that should be good.
That's nice. It's interesting.
Thank you.
So, being a lawyer.
Yeah.
So we'll get out from the triathlete part and ask you about being a lawyer. So, you're a Bahraini young lawyer.
Yes.
How do you find that?
At particular times, it's really challenging. I mean, it's a full-time job, and really hats off to all the women who work full-time jobs and still manage the time to train, because I would definitely encourage doing that, but it requires time management, and there are women with full-time jobs or who are raising families or doing both, actually, who do this as not even as a hobby but as a lifestyle. So I would definitely say that it's challenging, but it's worth the reward, and you just need just a bit of time management to get through.
So did you face difficulties with when it comes to your work and being in an Ironman?
Yes, I did. Because here's the thing: we would have to be up by 5 to train. Those who would be reporting to work at 8 or 9, and then there's another training session after it. So honestly, with the work stress and with the stress of training, it's hard, but it's doable. I won't say it isn't.
So you have to give it your full dedication.
Dedication, definitely, and your full dedication to work. So
of course,
you have to strike a balance.
So what do you see? Like, where do you see yourself in the future when it comes to this?
Well, I see myself participating in more races, but my hope is actually to try and motivate other women and girls to join the sport. There are so many talented young ladies out there, Bahraini ladies, swimming, with cycling, with running, and they're absolutely amazing. And they just don't have at this point, they don't have the recognition or the exposure that they deserve. And honestly speaking, His Highness Sheikh Nasser is working towards that. And hopefully with more people coming on board, we can push to create this sort of society that encourages sports, not only triathlon, but in other places. So that's where I want to be. I want to be one of the drivers of that.
So Rana, in your opinion, how do you think we can empower a woman in this field?
Well, I think the first start is to raise awareness, have talks, attend schools, let them know that there is such a sport out there, or in other sports, introduce more physical activities. and definitely sign up for races and give them the tools and the confidence to want to go out there and participate, because a lot of them are scared or they're just anxious and they don't know how people will take it or react to it, especially now that it's still in its fairly new stages. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that there are so many organizations out there that do encourage these sports and women in sports. And they organize several races. One of the organizers had a women-only triathlon race.
Nice.
So no access to men. So people who are just generally uncomfortable, first getting a feel for it, a shorter distance race. You have organizations like Bahraini Roadrunners, like the Bahrain Triathlon Association, like Boost Bahrain, who have these races for women, for kids, for participants of all ages. So market them, let them know that these places are available, that these events are available for them to participate in, and encourage them, regardless of
They need
whatever
encouragement,
they yeah.
of course. Whether they're the youth or
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
or the kids as well.
Yeah.
You can build these things in them
Of
since
course,
they're kids.
of course, and you have to instill these values in them from the beginning, and from the start, and also regardless of whether they're amateur sports athletes or they're professional.
They can take you as an example. You said you didn't like sports when you were in school.
I really didn't, and I think people who are watching, the people who know me, knew no sports whatsoever, not even PE. I never used to participate. I would hate it.
What would you like to tell the youth out there, since you're one of them?
The first thing I'd like to tell them is, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. That's the first thing that I heard from many people. Oh, you're never going to do this, or you don't have the commitment, or you're not going to be waking up early or trying this hard. And that's a downer. And you just have to remember that these are people telling you. And it's not, you know your capability, you know how well you can do something, and you shouldn't let that affect you. You shouldn't let what people say affect you. So that's the first thing. If you see something, go out and do it. If you like it, if it's safe, if it's a sport, if there's somebody trying to get you into it, do it, because you never know if you doubt yourself.
And where do you see the Bahraini youth in the future?
Definitely a lot better than they are now, and they're already great now, and they're already participating in the Asian Games, the Bahrain national team, and I see a lot of development going towards them. So I see us winning medals, gold only.
Inshallah,
Inshallah.
Would you like to say any last message to our viewers?
Yes, there are so many races out there. Check the calendars. As I said, Bahrain Roadrunners, Bahrain Triathlon Association, and Boost, and there are so many upcoming other organizations. So check which race is great for you and go out and do it.
Well, thank you very much, Rana. It was a great pleasure to have you with us on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, we had with us Rana Al-Alawi. Thank you for watching Open Talk. Hope you have a good evening.